The Challenger 2 main battle tank represents the current standard MBT of the British Army. The type represents the pinnacle of British armour development for its perfect combination of mobility, firepower and protection, key qualities of any fighting machine. However, to understand its reach, one must understand its deep lineage to the battlefield systems encountered during the closing years of World War II when the British unveiled their Centurion MBT. Developed during the war, the type arrived too late to see combat actions but would go on to be a staple of the Cold War and achieve post-war success through foreign sales, serving in many capacities from 1945 to the 1990s. The Centurion was eventually beginning to show its age and limitations, so the new MBT was on order. This turned out to be the excellent Chieftain of 1966, which introduced the powerful 120mm length 11A5 series rifled main gun. Later in its life, the Chieftain was upgraded for the better, and foreign interest with British ties grew in the form of Iran, who procured some 700 examples for their armoured corps. A requirement for a new MBT was on order as the Shia 2, and, while work was being handled, an improved form of the Chieftain would be made available as the Shia 1. However, the Islamic Revolution in Iran of 1979 formally cancelled the expected orders. The Shia 1 was therefore rerouted to Jordan to be used as the Khalid. The Shia 2, however, was then further developed for the British Army as the Challenger after a British-German initiative, and the indigenous MBT-80 programs both fell through. The Challenger introduced the revolutionary Chobham composite armor while retaining a powerful 120mm main gun. This tank replaced the Chieftain in the British Army inventory, resulting in the latter's retirement in 1995, but further improvements could be made. The Challenger then operated in a frontline capacity from 1983 to the middle of the 1990s, and 420 examples were delivered. It saw action in the 1991 ground war in Iraq with excellent results. Improvements made to the Challenger design in the 1980s brought about the new Challenger 2 line, to which the original Challenger became the Challenger 1. The Challenger 2 entered service in June of 1998 with a total of 446 systems delivered. Initially intended to complement the Challenger 1 series, it was later formally decided to replace the type with the newer breed of vehicle. While evolved from the Challenger 1, the Challenger 2 represents a heavily modified version of the earlier tank, all related back to the World War II era Centurion to some extent. The overall design configuration has remained faithful to the original Challenger, with the driver seated front center, the turret at the center of the hull and the engine to the rear. The running gear consists of 6 double-tired road wheels to a track side with the drive sprocket at the rear and the track idler at the front. The glassy plate is well sloped, as are the front facings of the turret. The upper regions of the running gear and hull are protected in thin skirt armor. The Challenger 2 maintains a shallow hull and turret which afford it an excellent low profile. The tank is crewed by 4 personnel, with the driver in the hull and the commander, loader and gunner in the turret. The Challenger 2 was given an all-new turret design and retained the use of Chobham armor and the 120mm main gun. Only the Challenger 1, Challenger 2 and M1 Abrams are known users of the highly secretive Chobham armor formula. Explosive reactive armor blocks can also be added for improved protection at the cost of weight gain. A nuclear biological chemical protection system is standard. A new, high-pressure 120mm main gun was developed, as this appeared as the L30A1. To undo the wrongs of the original Challenger 1 fire control system, a more technologically sound and advanced digital fire control system was integrated into the Challenger 2 series. The main gun was stabilized across both axes to allow for accurate fire at range and firing on the move with equally deadly results. The Challenger 2 could now engage multiple targets at distance with very good results from its main gun. Both the gunner and commander were given individual stabilized optical or thermal vision equipment as well as an advanced sighting system to boot. Ergonomics were incorporated throughout the interior to provide for a relatively healthy operating environment. As standard, a 7.62mm length 94A1 machine gun is fitted in a coaxial mount alongside the main gun. The commander's cupola retains a 7.62mm length 37A2 machine gun for engaging infantry and low-flying aerial threats. There are 52 by 120mm projectiles stored in the hull, and this includes a mix of high-explosive squash head and armor-piercing fin-stabilized discarding sabot rounds. Smoke rounds are also available. 4,200 by 7.62mm rounds of machine gun ammunition are carried. The Challenger 2 crew also manages 10 electrically operated smoke grenade dischargers fitted as 2 banks of 5 at each front side turret panel. Power for the new Challenger 2 is from a Perkins engine CV12 diesel-fueled engine developing 1,200 horsepower. The engine is mated to a David Brown TN54 series epicyclic transmission system with 6 forward and 2 reverse gears. The vehicle is suspended atop a hydro-pneumatic suspension system. All told, these inclusions allow for a top road speed of 35 miles per hour with an operational range of 280 miles. Jettisonable external fuel drums can be added to the rear hull for extended ranges. Overall weight of the vehicle is 69 tons. The Challenger 2 has been used operationally in peacekeeping efforts during the Bosnia and Kosovo interventions and went on to see first combat actions in the 2003 invasion of Iraq, where it acquitted itself in excellent fashion. Again, no battlefield losses incurred. In several instances, individual Challenger 2 were hit repeatedly by Soviet-era rocket-propelled grenades with little to no damage to the armor. IED protection has also been proven well in the subsequent fighting. The Challenger 2 has proven a worthy successor to the Challenger 1 line and then some, giving the British Army one of the most, if not the most, powerful main battle tanks in service today. The type is expected to fulfill its frontline role until 2035 with no indications of a successor planned for the near future. Considering the monetary costs of designing, developing and producing main battle tanks in today's world, this is not surprising. Regardless, the Challenger 2 has very few threats on the modern battlefield, so the delay in acquiring a new vehicle for the British Army is acceptable. Oman became the only foreign operator of the Challenger 2, and this began with a first order placed in 1993 for 18 vehicles. This was followed up by 20 additional Challenger 2s in 1997. The British Army has taken delivery of 408 total Challenger 2 tanks. Oman operates 38.